A single exam that's going to decide the future of almost 68,000 medical graduates directly and many of them indirectly. I'm talking about the most controversial exam right now, that is the National Exit Test, or popularly called as the NExT exam. With the National Medical Commission announcing the conduction of the NExT exam for the 2019 batch, there's a lot of confusion and chaos going on in everybody's mind. So some of you had texted me asking regarding the exam. So here is a short video that is going to explain all that I understood from the NMC webinar that happened recently, and also my plans as of now. Honestly speaking, the 2019 batch, we were not ready for this. There were a lot of talks and a lot of rumors regarding the conduction of the NExT exam for the 2019 batch. But since the dates are not official, there were no official guidelines. So we thought that it won't be conducted this year, but it's official now. The key point which they highlighted in the webinar was that after a point of time, the theory exams become predictive, and we students do a lot of selective study by just marking the important questions in the textbook and reading only that, which is pretty much true. That's what we all do before the exams. We just study the important questions and give the exams, and in most of the cases the question paper arises only from the previous year questions and the important questions, and we get decent enough marks. So according to the NMC authorities, they want us to have a broad idea, and they want us to avoid the tunnel vision that we have in case of the important topics. They want us to study everything and just not mug up the facts, mug up the data, and write it in the exam. So that's very thoughtful actually. Regarding the pattern and the subject and stuff, there are a lot of videos, there are a lot of websites explaining that. So it's I hope it's not needed for me to include that in this video, since it's available everywhere right now. So I'm going to share the advantages and disadvantages, what I think, and what I have found out from interacting with my batchmates. So one advantage is that there are no question and answer format of the traditional theory exam, so we don't have to write pages together of the answers that we used to write in our exams. And also we don't have to mug up the entire facts like definitions and stuff. Obviously it's needed for viva and the university practical exam, which is still gonna stay and it is gonna be conducted by the respective universities. But according to the NExT exam, in the next one, we won't be having any like long answer format, so we don't have to mug up all the algorithms and stuff. Also, one major advantage that was highlighted during the webinar was that there won't be any bias during the correction of the paper. Because in the theory exam, there was this notion that our marks depends on the the correction of the professor and how they correct, and someone with who has written better answers may not get good marks because the correction was done by a strict professor and all that stuff. So all that will be eliminated here, and it's also a computer-based test. So I'm not saying that computers don't make mistakes or any of that stuff. It is possible, but the probability is less. And one more thing, the positive side that they highlighted in the seminar was that you can just do casual reading and answer the questions. You just have to clear the concepts, and it won't be difficult, but it will be a different pattern of questions. Another major advantage what I feel is that during internship, we won't be having the pressure of studying for the PG entrance exams, because the next one exam will be conducted before our internship, whose marks will be considered for allotting the PG seat, and as well as it will replace our final year university exams. So during our internship, we won't be having the pressure of studying for the PG exams. Instead, we can focus on the clinical skills and learn it thoroughly, because for the next two exams, that's what will be assessed. It will be a clinical exam based on the communication skills, the the practical aspects, and all those. It's basically a skill-based exam. Now coming to the little not so good side of the exam, despite all these advantages, the fact that they have announced these exam dates and the guidelines at such a short notice is what is being stressful so for many of the students right now. Also, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the university practicals that's going to be conducted after the next one exam and the next two exam. Like, will the next two exam and the practical exams be of the same format, or what will be the difference between them? So there are a lot of questions which is yet to be answered. Also the fact that we'll have to read ENT and Ophthal again, like we completed it in the third year and we are in the final year now, but still we'll have to read it again, because in the next one exam, the ENT and Ophthal have separate papers of 60 marks each, and not only that, even for the next two exam, we'll be having ENT and Ophthal skill based examination. So that's one thing. Also, that the next one is not just a pass or fail exam. The marks that will be awarded in this exam are considered for the allotment of the PG seat. So it's very crucial. And in case we are not satisfied with our marks and we want to upgrade, there's a time we'll have to prepare for 6 months and then give the exam again. And in that 6 months duration, we are neither students, we are neither doctors, we have not officially cleared the exam yet, nor are we doing the internship. In the previous format of NEET PG and INI-CET, the format was that if we are not satisfied with our marks, we can continue with our internship, or after the internship we can take gap of whatever 6 months or 1 year and write the exam. But during that time we would be called doctors, and at least we will have a degree and we can work elsewhere. But now that is not the case. For the 6 months we don't even have our degree in our hands. Again, in the previous pattern of exams, the university exams was not having radiology and dermatology to that extent. It was not important to that extent. Obviously, dermatology was a part of medicine paper, and one or two questions were asked, and that were quite predictable and the important questions again. But now, since it is an online exam, there is a probability of a lot of image-based questions being asked, especially in the radiology and also the dermatology part. So that needs to be thoroughly studied. Since the exam is conducted once in 6 months, there is also some query regarding the beginning of internship, whether it will be batch wise, because a certain group of people may be satisfied with their marks and they want to continue to the internship, and the other group of people who might want to give a reattempt. So there's a lot of query regarding that. Also, some of them are saying that the average of the 2 marks, if we give the 2 attempts, will be considered, and the other group are of the opinion that it will be the best of two. So according to the previous guidelines, it will be the average of two, but there's the new guidelines or the updated guidelines are yet to be released. If it will be average of two, then it's going to be a hard time for all of us. Having said all this, it's not that the pattern of exam or the exam itself is not good or anything like that. In fact, it's a great step for changing the pattern of exams and changing the pattern of medical education. But the thing is, they should have said this a little bit earlier, and they should have brought the guidelines a little bit earlier. There would be much clarity, and people would not feel stressful, and people would not panic as they are doing now. All of this confusion that's happening right now could have been eliminated. Another thing that was said in the webinar was that it's just a different pattern, not necessarily a difficult pattern. So there's no need to panic and just keep calm. Some of you also asked my preparation and my plans to go about next exam. So I am also as clueless as you guys, and I don't have a solid plan or anything of that sorts. In fact, I'm very bad at creating and following long-term plans. So I'm thinking of making short-term plans and just abiding by it. As of now, I'm just watching narrow videos of whatever postings I'm posted in, the important topics videos. Regarding the MCQs, I was solving some MCQs earlier as well, but I was not very regular in my approach. So planning to include a lot of MCQs in my regular study routine and at least solve 10 questions every day. Solving MCQs is very very crucial because especially for me, because in the MCQ exams, always what I do is I end up correcting the answers in the last moment and choosing the wrong option over the right one. So I end up overthinking and changing my answers, and this can only be overcome by clearing the concepts and practicing a lot of more MCQs. So that's what I am targeting as of now. Also, I've heard a lot about this mistakes notebook, which is nothing but a small book which you maintain, and whenever you solve some MCQs and you find some points hard or volatile, you just note down in that notebook not only the hard points but also all the mistakes that you make. It may be silly mistakes or conceptual mistakes that you make in the MCQs. You just note down in that notebook and revise it regularly. Before my NEET UG, I had tried to create such a notebook, but I didn't actually succeed in that because I ended up being very regular by in noting down the mistakes. So for currently, I'm planning on incorporating that into my routine. Let's see how much I'll be successful right now. There's absolutely no use in panicking right now, is what I believe in and what I would like to say to you guys as well. Because panicking not only creates much more chaos and much more confusion regarding an already very confusing exam. So, all we can do is hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Regarding the junior batches, the 2020 and 2021 batches, there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding them. Probably all those batches will also have next exam, but in the third year, will they be having ENT and opthal theory exam, or in the third year itself, they'll be starting incorporating just MCQs as a part of their university exam? Is all that needs to be answered yet. But MCQ exam doesn't just mean that you will have to stop reading the textbooks and all that stuff, because I'm hearing a lot of people say that there's no need to read textbooks from now on. At least for clearing the concepts of some important topics, there's absolutely a need to read the textbooks and clear the concepts, and I'm sure that it'll definitely help in some way or the other. And coming to the modules and question banks, it's very necessary to solve the question banks, and we can't just rely on the textbooks and neglect all these question banks and the model questions, because that's also necessary. So there's a need to balance between the two of them. Everything that happens for good, they say. So let's see what good changes this exam is going to bring in the medical education. All the very best, and until next time, take care.